Hey BookTube, it's Charlie from Reader Turned Writer, and today I am going to be sharing my bullet journal for 2019. So this is my bullet journal for 2019, and I just used the same notebook as I did this year for next year because I really liked it. So I will link that down below what I got. The cover page says 2018 because I totally messed that up, but I didn't like this anyway, so I'm just going to redo that, maybe paste something over there. I do like this, but I just didn't like the rainbow thing. I don't know, I didn't really like how that turned out, so I'll just put something over it anyways. And then this is just my calendar, same as last year, and I am color coding each one again because I really liked doing that last year. I really enjoy color coding my bullet journal because I'm kind of nerdy. And I just put down important events, big events. And then this is my reading section. So this is my favorite books of 2019, and I'll fill it in each month. And you can see I have 3 slots for each month. I get to pick my 3 favorites from each month. Then at the end of the year, I could potentially choose like my favorite of those 3 and then have like my 12 favorite books, that kind of thing. These are the books that I most want to read in 2019. Some of them are from my 2018 TBR list because I didn't get to them, and a lot of them are new, and I'll do a separate video probably to show which ones I want to read the most next year. And I have a plan to try and get through all of them next year. I'll prioritize them a little bit more than I did this year. So these are just series that I want to keep track of. This page actually was inspired and maybe even copied. I can't remember if I did exactly what she did or if I was just inspired by it. But it was inspired by Kaylee at Books for MKs and her bullet journal video. A lot of these pages I got off of Pinterest or from other people that I've watched their bullet journals, and some of them I just kind of made myself. But I'm not an artist, and so I really like more clean-cut list type ones. And so that's kind of what I went for. Here are the authors that I most want to read more of. Marissa Meyer is at the top because I just finished the Lunar Chronicles and loved it. And so as I read one by them, I can color it in. And then as I read books by these authors, I can just kind of put them down here with the number. And then over here are just classics that I want to get to eventually, and then as I'm deciding what to read next, I can look at my list of classics and decide which one I want to read next. Uncle Tom's Cabin, Frankenstein, and Mary Poppins are the 3 that I most want to get to next year. Frankenstein I'll read at Halloween time. I wanted to read that one and Dracula this year, but I read Dracula and it was so long that it took me forever to get through it. And so, yeah. I'll read Frankenstein this year. And Uncle Tom's Cabin I've been meaning to read for forever. So then here are my books that I want to reread sometime soonish. And I know I probably won't, I'm not gonna reread all of these this year, because that would be like, all I would be able to do is reread books probably. But this way I can keep track of books that I'm rereading as well. And these are also in alphabetical order-ish. I put all the A's and then the B's and then the D's because I was having trouble finding one time in my 2018 bullet journal, and my husband was like, well, aren't they alphabetical order? And I was like, no. So I did that this time. I put them in alphabetical order-ish. These are books that I'd really like to read aloud to Ashton, my 4-year-old, and I left room so I can add some if I just find some. And then this is a new page. I've never done this before. New finds to read soon. This is like if I hear about a new release, or if I read an author that I really like their books and I want to read more by them and there's a specific one I want to read, or I hear about cool books on BookTube that I'm like, man, I really want to read that like right now. I'll put that here, and then I could potentially read it this year, and if not, then I can know that it's there for my 2020 TBR list of books that I most want to get to. And here's my library book catalog. I put the book here. I put the due date here, and then I have 2 more slots in case I renew them, because you can renew books twice. And then here's where I mark it off when I finish it. And then here is my buying books page. So over here, these are books that I would really like to buy. I don't know if I'll get to them this year. It kind of depends on how our finances go. Currently, we're not really buying a lot of books because our budget's a little bit tighter. These are books that I want to buy as I'm able to, and then if our budget gets bigger, then maybe I'll end up buying a few more of them. And then over here are empty books that I can fill in as I buy certain books. I can put them there, and so these are books that I buy this year. So this is new too. This is just a breakdown of how much I spend each month, and I might have like a goal, like I want to stay under this amount of money, and then how much I actually spent. This is also a new page that I actually put in my other in 2018's bullet journal, but I have never shown it to anybody because I put it in pretty recently, and it just keeps track of the Book of Mormon. Just keeps track of the Book of Mormon because I want to read the Book of Mormon next year, and I want to read 19 chapters of it a week. And then here's my book log, and I just write down the book and the author. I write down what I rated it, and I decided to try and put how many pages. I didn't do that last year, but I was always flipping to where I kept track of pages, and then the date that I finished it, and then if I reread it, then I put a star next to it. And I left even more pages this time because I ended up running out of pages again last year. Here is my stats page. It's pretty similar to last year's, but I changed it a little bit. So I like to keep track of how many pages I read in graph form each month, so I can easily see how my reading month went. I like to keep track of how many female versus male authors I read. I keep track of the star ratings of each book. And then this I kind of changed a little bit. These are like the genres, and then these are like the genres can fit into them. Like a new release could be any of these, or fairy tale could actually be quite a few of these. Like the Lunar Chronicles are sci-fi, but they're also fairy tale, that kind of thing. And so, or self-help nonfiction, then I can like come over here. So these are like my genres that I typically read, and then these are like the break down the genres even more. Over here on this page, I just like to keep track of what kind of book I'm reading. Like, did I get it from the library? Did I own it? Was it an ebook or an audiobook? And then I also like to keep track of how many from my yearly TBR that I've read that month. I'll just keep track here how many books I bought, donated, reread, or versus it being a new read for me. And then here, this is how many books I've read, just so I can look and see, and in increments of 5, because that's just, and then my goal is 140 just because that's what fits. So I want to do 12 books a month. That's my goal, which is kind of a lofty goal. This last year I had some months that were more like 7 or 8 books a month, and my goal was 7. And so I don't know that I'll actually get 12 books a month, but I will probably be able to average 12 books a month. And then here I use my color coding to mark, like, this is where I should be in January, February, March, April, so I can see whether I'm ahead or behind of my goal. Because I can use the Goodreads for it, but I actually use Goodreads on my phone a lot, and I don't know if the mobile app actually shows you if you're ahead or behind. I know the one on the computer does, and I really like knowing how many I am ahead or behind, but this is a way that I can do it for me in my bullet journal, because I use my bullet journal for things like that. So here's a goals page. This is also new. This will be for the first 6 months, and this will be for the second 6 months, and I'll just write some goals and kind of mark them off as I do them. And I'll probably set the goals like according to some of the pages in here, like I want to read so many classics or whatever. This is a place where I can put my yearly stats, because I was wishing I had a place for that in my current bullet journal, and I didn't. So it's kind of messy. Next year I want to try restructuring it because I don't really like how it is, but this is a place where I can write my top YouTube videos for the year. So I can write the ones that got the most comments and the ones that got the most views. And then I can write how many subscribers I had at the beginning of the year versus at the end of the year. Same with comments, how many comments I got in 2018 versus how many comments I got in 2019. And then I can keep track of how many of each type of video I did, like how many recommendation videos did I do, how many discussion videos did I do, and then how many total videos here. And then on this side, I have pages read, books read, so this can be all totals, because I keep track of this per month, but this is a place for me to write down how many books read total, and same with like authors. I read this many authors, female authors versus male authors in the whole year. This is my most read genres, so then I can list them kind of like from most to least. And here's my star ratings I can keep track, and then my highest reading month versus my lowest reading month. And then this is, so my unread library is in here and in my monthly tracking, and I keep track, I write down all the audiobooks, all of the ebooks, and all of the physical books that I own that I haven't read, and then I try and read some of those each month. And so this can tell me, you know, at the beginning of the year I had this many, I read this many, I bought this many, or acquired. I say acquired because I get a lot of free ebooks and audiobooks. And then how many I have left to read that aren't read yet at the end of the year. So I can kind of just compare for each one how I did for the year. And then I have a section to list TBRs for any readathons that I might participate in, because I really enjoy readathons. And then this is my section to write down favorite quotes from books each month, and I write down the quote in the color of the month that I read it in, so I can kind of, it makes it look kind of pretty. And then here are my booktube notes. I have a whole bunch of pages of just video ideas that I have book review notes for when I do book reviews, and then this I have to write down notes for my target audience for writing novels or for making videos, because I really want to know my target audience. And then here is my stats for booktube, and I have I used to have on here, I used to have a goal to comment every day on booktube videos and to find the booktube newbie tag every week. But now I have, my goal is to be caught up on my subscription feed by the end of the week on YouTube, because some days I watch a lot of booktube and some days I don't watch any. And then here I want to subscribe to 2 new booktubers a week, even if I end up unsubscribing later because I decide they're not a good fit. I want to try and find 2 new ones each week that I really like, that I can watch. I want to upload 2 videos each week, and this is just my read 12 books per month, and I want to keep track of whether I read a fiction or a non-fiction book. And then here are my video goals. I want to do 100 videos this year, which gives me a little bit of leeway, but not much if I want to do 2 videos a week. And then here are I just write notes about comments and stuff, because I feel like commenting is one of the most important parts of booktube. It's my favorite part of booktube, and so I want to make sure that I am doing a good job with my comments and commenting sincerely and stuff. So I just kind of take notes there. And then I have a section for business notes, and this is just any notes for booktube or writing or anything, like if I'm reading a business book or that kind of thing, then I can take notes here for it. And then I get to my monthly reading tracker here. So here I write down the books that I read. Here I write down how many pages are in each book, and then at the end of the month I total up how many pages and books I read. Here I write down any books that I donated, and here I write down any books that I buy. These are just video ideas that I have that I kind of want to get to for the month, or that I just thought of that would be good for the month. Here I write down February's best videos, and then my March goals. I have my little calendar here, and I've kind of written different holidays and events in the calendar, but then when I record videos, I write them on the day that I recorded them and color it in, so I can really easily see when I uploaded videos. And here is when I write down the videos that I am planning on doing that week. So at the beginning of the month I just go through and I'm like, okay, I want to do, you know, a wrap up here and a tag video here and this video here, da 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 da. And then here's where I can have notes for the month. I had a huge page for notes last year on my monthly thing, and I decided to take it out because I didn't use it that much, but I do want a place just in case I have some notes that I want to write down. The next page, like I said, this is my unread library where I have audiobooks, ebooks, and the hard copy, and each month I just write down which one, and it changes every month because I read some of them, so I just wait until that month and then I write them all down. And then here, this is a new section. I have here, these are the books that I want to choose from. So I want to choose 5 or 6 from my monthly TBR, because if I read between 5 and 6 from my monthly TBR, or from my yearly TBR book each month, then I will finish all of the books on my TBR list. And then I want to pick one from an author I haven't read, from a series, from a nonfiction book, a classic, a reread, a new find, and an unread book. Unread, like one of these. And if I do that, then I will be able to reach a lot of my goals. And so the first, I have these here because these are designated for my 2019 TBR list, and then I'll just choose 12 books to read that month, and then if I do happen to get more than 12 books, then I can just read whatever, but this way I can kind of try and plan out what I'm reading more a little bit, and so I can get to the books that I actually want to get to, because I find that I tend to just read whatever is easiest. Like, oh, I see a book at the library, oh, I see there's these books that I own, or I see a book at DI that I haven't, the thrift store that I haven't read before, and I will grab it because I haven't read it before, but then I actually don't end up wanting to read it, but then I read it because I own it, and so then I don't actually get to the books that I really want to be reading. And then here, this is kind of a new section too. I just want to take notes on each book for my wrap-up, like kind of just jot down a few thoughts that I want to say during my wrap-ups. And then I have one for every single month all the way through December. And then that's all in the bullet journal, except for at the end I have writing notes and thoughts, and I do want to draw something here. I had the same page in my last bullet journal and I didn't ever draw anything on it, but I do want to. And then, so this is just writing notes. I'm part of a writing group, so I can take notes here if I need to during the writing group, or if I'm reading writing books or anything like that, or if I have ideas for my book, I can write them here, and I just have lots of empty pages for that. So yeah, this is my 2019 bullet journal. I am really excited for the new reading year. Are you going to be doing a bullet journal in 2019? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.